Okay, so let's go to Spain and to sherry. And the key to sherry, well, one of the fundamentals about sherry is it's dry. It is the fortified wine that is dry. And particularly Oloroso, Amontillado and Fino. And the key to understanding these, the grape variety that is used really doesn't have much flavour. So all of the flavours for sherry come from, and these types of sherries come from how it's matured, whether it's matured with oxygen or completely excluding oxygen. So let's start with Oloroso, because it's the one that's matured in the presence of oxygen. So it's going to be the easiest one for us to understand. So we're talking about, it's the same again. It's your toffee, your chocolate, your caramel, your dried fruits, and your nuts. And that's what an Oloroso sherry, but remember, it is dry, it is not sweet. You can also get it aged, so this is a 12-year-old, and if it's aged, it will be better quality because they'll use the better grapes. Now let's go to Fino. So Fino is fascinating because it is matured without any oxygen at all, but the way the oxygen is excluded is really quite unique. It's called the Solera system. And it's using flor, which is yeast cells, so like a thick coat of yeast cells. You've got these big barrels, you've got your dry sherry, your dry wine, you've fortified it, and you've got this thick layer of what they call flor. Now it's yeast, so think bread. So some of the flavours that you get are slightly doughy, but in the main what you get is bruised fruit. You get hay, you get chamomile. I get something that's a bit balsamic about it, not vinegar, but there's a sort of earthiness about it. Not everybody likes it, it's fair to say. It's not my favourite, and I think it's one of the reasons that a lot of people are put off sherry, because they think of it in terms of that. Amontillado is a cross between them all. So an Amontillado starts life as a Fino, so without oxygen and getting those flavours, and then oxygen is allowed in, and then it gets some of those toffee chocolate and those type of flavours. So it's a blend between the two. So these are all completely dry. You do get sweet sherries, you get sweetened sherries. So what that is they will add a sweetener, grape juice quite often. So a Fino, they sweeten it and it becomes pale cream sherry. Amontillado, they sweeten it, it becomes a medium sherry. Oloroso, they sweeten it, it becomes a cream sherry. Now there is one naturally sweet sherry, and it's called Pedro Ximénez PX, and this is amazing. The Pedro Ximénez is the grape variety. It's allowed to shrivel, so it's a bit like a raisin, and then you make wine from it. And it is super, super sweet. I mean, it's lusciously sweet. And it is basically like drinking Christmas pudding. You can't have too much of it, and I thoroughly recommend it on ice cream rather than having it any other way, because that freshens it up a bit.